been a little bit preoccupied with personal stuff, you know how it is, but I'm back into it, and I've decided to go for something a little bit complex with this scene, because I told you the cold-blooded car would be a little easier than some of the other cars because most of it is just straight shots of people talking, not a lot of messing with perspective and such. So let's get right into it. Oh, hold on just a second. Alright, let's get into it. So what I'm doing here is I'm having Boldier kind of lift their head up a little bit. It's gonna look pretty cool when it's all said and done, I'm pretty sure. Thomas Paine. So I'm going to have 4 frames. Thomas claimed. Thomas Paine. Alex. Just gonna be slowly lifting her hat. And I know this is more animation-y than animatic-y, but, you know, if I'm feeling up to it, I might as well throw a little bit of animation into my animatic. Like, why not? Thomas Paine. Alexander. I might add some more frames in there, because it's easy to add frames with slight motions like this. It's not as complicated as framing it out yourself. I know I shouldn't be using onion skins, but I cheat. Cheating is okay, as long as nobody gets hurt. The only thing that's getting hurt is my art skills. So, it's a victimless crime. I'm the victim of my own crime. Whoops. Issue. Got a tissue for your issue. Yep, looking better. Gotta tilt that, get that tilt just right, otherwise it looks weird. And the best way to see the tilt is not to turn on onion skins, but to just flick back and forth through the frames, because then your brain puts in the frame for you. Kind of. You still have to draw it, but it's easier to draw. So Sometimes for placement though, just turning on the onion skin for a second, drawing a line, making sure that's the correct place to put the line. It's not the worst thing in the world, but always check it after you draw anything with onion skins.
Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine. Alexander. Thomas Paine. Alex.
Does
Thomas Paine. Alex. Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine. Alexander was on.
Almost there.
Thomas Paine. Alexander was on Washington.
I really wish these were fast. That's the only thing. I might erase the lip sync and just have the
Thomas Paine.
might just have them go by fast.
Thomas Paine. Alexander was on. Thomas Paine. Alexander was.
Like, what I'm thinking is, okay, so put a new frame over here.
Thomas Paine.
And only have the list on claims. Like, claims.
Paine. Alexander. Paine.
Whoops, I'm skipping a frame. Sometimes you just gotta jostle the frame.
Thomas Paine. Alexander.
Alright, whoops. Now what I want is another frame like this. Wait, am I not drawing on it? Okay, there we go. Just maybe with the brim slightly lower. I was saying earlier, bold ear, no brim. God, it would make it so much easier to draw. Bold ear, no brim. But alas, I cannot be that lucky. Bold ear, no brim. I think this will probably be the most frames out of any of the ones that are going to be in the gold-blooded segment. Like the most framed segment here. Because the rest of them, they don't have hats like this, so there's no reason to do a dynamic motion in this way. But yeah. Oh, I see the stripe on her hat moved up a little bit. Let's get that moved to the proper place. There we go. There we go. Uh-huh. There we are. that little bit faster.
Thomas Plain, Alexander.
Not that fast. Okay, let's just zoom in on this a little bit. See if we can get it to exactly the speed that we want it to be. Where did it go? It went over here. Okay.
Thomas Plain. Thomas Plain, Alex. Thomas Plain, Alexander. Thomas Plain, Alexander was. Thomas Plain, Alexander was on.
If we do the Thomas
Plain, Alexander.
Thomas claims.
Thomas Plain.
I think the M should go here. Us. Us. Then the S goes here. Gotta make those mouth shapes look good. Oops.
Thomas Plain, Alexander. Thomas Plain, Alex. Thomas Plain, Alex.
A little bit late.
Thomas Plain, Alexander.
There we go, we're almost there.
Thomas Plain, Alexander. Thomas Plain, Alexander.
Look at that. It's coming along. Look at that. One more time.
Thomas Plain, Alexander.
Alright. Let's finish these up so they look a little bit more presentable. Then we can actually start working on the cup room segment. I did end up deleting a lot of the stuff that I did from last time, mostly because it's irrelevant. And I'd like to only document the relevant stuff, but in hindsight maybe I should have kept it just like a, sometimes you make a shot and sometimes you have to delete that entire shot. Sometimes you make a shot for an animatic and you just have to undo it and redo it later. Honestly, I'm glad that it turned out this way, because that I chose to delete it, because this looks so much better. And for only a little bit extra work. Like, we've only been here for 15 minutes and I've already gotten a nice little talk here. And it will look so pretty in the final animatic.
Thomas Plain, Alexander.
Basically begged me to join the fray. For the I have nowhere else to turn, I'm imagining a very detailed anime Joey, although I'm not very good at anime style, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it. I mean, I guess we'll find out when I get there, if I am able to pull it off or not, but, you know. Live and let die.
Thomas Plain. Thomas Plain. Alexander.
Why does that look different?
Thomas Plain. Alexander. Thomas Plain. Alex. Thomas Plain. Alex. Thomas Plain. Alex.
Thomas. Tom. Us. Thomas.
Thomas Plain. Alexander. Thomas Plain. Alexander.
Maybe I should have like claims. And I'll have this one almost up to the top. That way the speed isn't changed. So very close to that second to last, or this is the second to last frame, very close to that last frame. We'll make it put it up there.
Thomas Plain. Alexander.
Glitching out on me? Don't glitch out on me.
Thomas Plain. Alexander. Thomas Plain. Alexander.
Not quite. It's gotta look like a C sound, and I know that's a little bit difficult to do when there's a giant tooth in it.
Thomas Plain. Alexander.
Ooh, that looks close.
Plain. Alexander.
Cool.
Thomas Plain. Alexander was. Thomas Plain. Alexander.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna live with that one. Let's make these a little bit so that we get that squash effect. And it'll bounce. Let's see if that gives the desired effect.
Thomas Plain. Alexander.
No, it does not. Because there's no stretch to my squash. Let's just do a stretch. Let's see if when we just do a stretch, it works.
Thomas Plain. Alexander.
That looks good.
Plain. Alexander. Thomas Plain. Alexander.
Yeah, again, this is just an animatic, so it's not gotta look perfect, and you can kind of accept some of your mistakes along the way. It's hard, though. I gotta keep reminding myself that This don't gotta look gorgeous. Like, I still think it looks pretty good, but it don't gotta look perfect. And no one's expecting it to look perfect. Hell, I bet people aren't even expecting it to look good. Yep.
Thomas Lane, Alex. Thomas Lane, Alex.
I don't like the C sound. I gotta make it more clear. Cool. Thomas claims.
Thomas Lane, Alexander.
Maybe if I open up the mouth a little bit wider for claims. No, I like how wide it is. Maybe if I make it smaller.
Thomas Lane, Alexander. Thomas Lane, Alex. Thomas Lane, Alex. Thomas Lane,
There we
Alexander.
go. Just a wide mouth for the C. It isn't what it looks like on me, but
Thomas Lane, Alexander was on. Thomas Lane. Thomas Lane, Alexander. Thomas Lane, Alexander.
I can fix the eyes later to make them dart at the appropriate times. I could do a lot of stuff later.
Alexander.
Okay.
Alexander. Thomas Lane. Alexander.
It's glitching out a little bit. It's skipping some frames.
Thomas Lane. Alexander.
Have your morning coffee and tea, sugarman and creamman, and save some for these guys. I got that stuck in my head, you know. It might be a shitty jingle, but it's a very catchy, shitty jingle. Yep. Working along, working along.
Alexander was Thomas Lane. Alexander was Lane. Alexander. Thomas Lane. Alexander was on. Thomas Lane. Alexander was on.
I clean that up, it'll look weird.
Thomas Lane. Alexander was on.
Look at that.
Thomas Lane. Alexander was on.
Let's fix up the timings though.
Thomas Lane. Alexander.
It's a little late, don't you think?
Thomas Lane. Alexander was on. Thomas Lane. Alexander was. Lane. Alexander was. Thomas Lane. Thomas Lane. Alexander was on Washington's door. Thomas Lane. Alexander was on Washington. Alexander was on.
Then we pull up, what's his name? Cuprum. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. You know, I think I'm just going to do 2 lip flaps for this, because I think that would suit Cuprum very well. Just a little laughing. Obviously, I'm actually going to have some frames where his arms are moving and such, like in a dismissive motion for in distress and disarray. And also he's going to be just generally being rude. And basically begged me to join the fray. Nope, it's too happy. He has to be more loud than he is happy. He's still smiling. He's not sad, he's just loud. Yeah, that'll do. Rapidity. Yeah, he lost one tooth on his bottom jaw. Rip this guy. Hmm. Whoop. Hmm. He looks kind of like Zuko, a little bit. Like young Zuko. Zuko was run through a wood chipper. Got a lot of moving parts on him. Not moving, but like complicated parts on him. But once I get him down, I'll be able to mess with him a little bit more. that's even. It doesn't look uneven, at least. I'm actually not sure what's going on with his lower horns. Are they behind the goggle strap? I guess. Like that? Eh. There's a lot going on with this guy. A lot of crazy shit. Hmm. All right.
Thomas claims Alexander was on Washington's doorstep.
Okay. Gotta make these things pointy. Pointy and sharp. was going through the Hamilton soundtrack, and there's actually a lot of moments that match Zephyros as Aaron Burr. In this one, Hamilton is Damick, but actually having Hamilton as Joey works a lot more often. Like, I don't understand how you stand to the side. I keep all my hands close to my chest. Wait for it, I wait here and see which way the wind will blow. You know the one. I'm not doing it justice.
Alexander was on watch. Alexander was on Washington.
Wait, does it really go that fast?
Alexander was on Washington's.
Maybe a little bit more. Maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alexander was on Washington's doorstep.
Wait, why did it hold open?
Alexander was on Washington's door. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one.
Let's try the 2s again.
Alexander was on Washington's door. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in.
Yeah, this is looking kind of cute, kind of reminiscent of the actual game. And I get to cheat. God, I love cheating.
Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in.
And then In Distress and Disarray is the art motion that I was talking about earlier. It's a dismissive, like, in distress and disarray.
Thomas Plain. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day.
It's glitching out. I don't like that.
Thomas Plain. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in. Thomas Plain. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress.
And up in the corner here, I plan to do like a little scene by scene of what happened, but in like an even sloppier style that I'm already doing. No, not 2D. We want 4. Let's rename this 4. Okay. Let's see. In distress and disarray. His hand's gonna be doing like a flap flap. A little flap flap. What, I have to stop the stream? Why do I have to stop the stream? Can I put the stream on hold and then come back? What do I gotta see what's happening? Terry Crews is streaming Danganronpa. Terry Crews is streaming which Danganronpa? Trigger Happy Havoc? Because that's the worst one in the series. And yes, I stand by that. Ultra Despair Girls is weird, but Trigger Happy Havoc is the worst game. But he's streaming it. I don't like to... I'm not gonna stop my stream just to watch Terry Crews play Danganronpa. I'll watch it later. But, that is pretty insane that Terry Crews is streaming Danganronpa. I'm definitely gonna watch that later. I wonder what he'd think of it. Does he like it so far? Thank you for the $1, but I'm not going to switch the stream to start drawing baby Nia on top of Drillmark's head. Trigger Happy Havoc is kind of a confused mess of a game. Like, it visually I like it, but it's really hard to tell what the game wants you to do. Probably the only thing it has over the other games in the series is that it actually explains the free time mechanic, unlike the other games, which don't. But outside of that, the trials are generally worse, the characters are generally worse, don't at me. Like, I love Chihiro, but his character arc was a mess, and his backstory was terrible. We got so close to having a canon trans character in 20... Oh god, when did that game come out? Not 2011. Something like that, though. Wait, 2010, because it was just their 10-year anniversary, so 2010. Yeah. God, how do I do this motion? I've got a mirror. I'm holding a mirror, and I'm gonna do the motion. Okay. I see. I might do a slight head tilt, but let's get something down here before we go crazy. But so yeah, I've just outed myself as both a Danganronpa and a Homestuck, so my internet career is over. I was gonna do that anyway in this series, because the original trial sequence is actually an Ace Attorney reference, but in my little animatic, I was going to turn it into a Danganronpa reference by doing the counter mechanic. You know, like when Sora wa Chigayo. You know the one. If you know Danganronpa, which you might not. Terry Crews. Well, I hope he likes it. I was watching the Game Grumps play Trigger Happy Havoc, and I was worried that they weren't liking it. Because I don't want, like, them to have to play through a game that they hate just because the fan base is ravenous. Like what was the case with Doki Doki Literature Club. I know Dan was not, or I mean, I obviously I don't know the guy, I don't know him, but it seemed like he was kind of made to play it, and I feel bad about that for him. It kind of reminded me, I don't know if any of y'all seen the series Total Forgiveness, where like is like a game show from College Humor where two people with immense student debt do crazy challenges to try to lower their student debt, and the two people who were like the two competitors would give each other challenges because the two competitors were also friends, and one of the challenges that one of the competitors gave the other competitor, just like it ruined their friendship for a little while. And I'm not saying that it ruined Dan and Aaron's friendship. It's just like that weird sort of vibe that you get, like, oh, this person is dragging themselves through this. I got that from the Doki Doki Literature Club playthrough, and I was like, oh man, Dan, you good? Why are you pointing guns at me? What's a guns for? Pointing flyan gun. Flame gun. Do you need a bigger gun? Am I all alone? Is this thing on? I need a bigger gun. Whoopsie. Oh god, that hand looks terrible. I see. Okay. This is a difficult motion to do, but once I get this hand position, I'm sure I can do the rest. I just need to get this hand position perfect. Look at these terrible hands. So bad. This is awful. Okay. Truly terrible. I've never drawn a hand in this position before. So whoops. Maybe it's more like this. Now he looks like he's going boy. Let me see if when I add the other one, it'll look better. Actually, hold on. What if I do it like a little bit closer into the body? y'all see what I'm going for now, right? Oh, do we get there? Let's fill in the body for this. Filling in stuff, filling in stuff. I wonder who designed him, this troll. Okay. Okay. Let's switch 4 and 5. 5, 4, 5. Let's see how that looks.
Was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and
So this is going to be 4 apart.
Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims claims. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims. Alexander said,
The next Thomas claims, I believe I said would be Boldier. So Boldier is up next. Not Boldier. What's her name? Polpa. Polpa. Peepa poop.
Doorstep one day in distress and disarray.
Which one? Yeah.
Thomas claims. Step one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims.
So let's get a picture of Pulpa. Yeah, she's all wrapped up. Luckily, I don't have to do any lip syncing for her, because she never shows her mouth. Her sigil's so much cuter. Like, it's so cute. It's a little cat. Did she ever say what her Lucis was? I think her Lucis is dead, actually. But I don't remember if she said what it was. It's probably a cat. Probably dead because it's a cat. Like, we didn't want to have two featured trolls with cat Lucises. Luci. Jeez. Guess it's dusty in here. Now I'm not going to do something complicated with her hands. I still have more stuff to do. Man, I can't wait till I can see her and Tagari interact again. They have such a wholesome dynamic. still have to read Vast Error. Kitty. Kitty. And then I think she's gonna glare at the camera like, grr.
Thomas claims Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims.
Yeah, just kind of like a grr. Yep. Moved back too much. Yep, that looks a little bit better. Just a touch better. Whoops, not enough. Not enough move over. Oop, they kind of close in on our eye. Let's undo that. Not quite. Gotta get it to scooch just right. Let's watch this again.
Thomas claims Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims Alexander said,
Maybe I should do Boldiers last. Who knows? I can always move them around later. Okay. Too direct of a movement. It has to be a little bit less, a little bit more subtle. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Still two. Oop. No, I don't want to erase that one. I don't like that. Just a little tiny turn. Itty bitty turn. And maybe at the same time we move this in a little bit. We go whoop. Yeah. Go whoop. Let's see if that looks any better. Might be too much, but it is definitely too much. Whoops. Maybe like that. Like a downward movement might work better. Oof. might just trace it. See that? Sure, why not? You shouldn't be looking at her ponytail anyway. Whoopsie. Do. Nope, too much of a turn. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, a little bit too big. Yeah, that looks alright. Decent to me, at least. I might move this a little bit. Like, just inwards. Oh yeah, that's the ticket. I'm gonna have her close her eyes and open them back up. Just a sec. Wait, what happened to my brush? Oh, I see. Deselect. Yeah, look at that. That's a nice little movement right there. So, head bob. Okay.
In distress and disarray. Alex.
We want it to be on claims that she turns.
Alex. 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 Disarray. Alex. Disarray. Alex.
Yep. Alright. So it goes down. Nope, not down enough. not quite down enough. Let's see. Okay. Where is her little notch? The one on the end, I mean. It's not quite right. Okay, it's on the end of the head here. No, it moves too much. Alright. I'm just going to trace it and then put it where it should be. Wherever that is. So we know for a fact that this is going to be the same size as the others. Too much.
Alexander. Alexander.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Move this up a little bit. gonna be alright. Oh, that looks kind of nice. Thomas claims. Let me put a horn here. Yep. Yep. Okie doke.
Distress and disarray. Thomas claims. Alexander.
Your face kinda got squashed there. Let's fix that real quick.
Day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims. Alexander said. Thomas claims. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims. Alexander said.
Looking good?
Alexander said. I've nowhere else to turn.
Then
Alexander. Alexander said.
whew.
Thomas claims. Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims. Alexander said. Alexander said. I've nowhere else to turn. And basically.
Basically begged me to join the fray. Maybe a lean forward too. That might be nice. A little leaning inwards.
Else to turn, and basically begged me to join the Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn, and basically begged me to join the fray.
Oof.
Thomas claims Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn, and basically begged me to join the fray.
Three, 2C, 3, 2C, 3.
Alexander said I've nowhere else.
Wait. Delete. Delete.
Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn, and basic
2C, 3, 2C, 3.
and basically begged me to stress and disarray. Thomas claims Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn, and basically Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn.
Glitching out a little bit. It's okay.
Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn, and basically begged me to join the fray.
Yeah.
Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn, and basically begged me.
2C, 3.
I've nowhere else to turn, and basically begged me to.
I know that there are more frames than this. Why aren't you showing me?
Alexander said I've nowhere else to turn, and basically begged me to join the fray.
time.
Thomas claims Alexander was on Washington's doorstep one day in distress and disarray. Thomas claims Alexander said, "I've nowhere else to turn," and basically begged me to join the fray.
And then Sirava will be the next one. But you know, I think that might do it for me. I think we've gotten enough progress today, and this might be a good point to cut it off. I'll see y'all tomorrow. That's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for those of you joining us on YouTube. Every day I'll be hacking away at this animatic. And don't worry, I know some of the parts look a little messy, but they will all be cleaned up by the end. And if y'all ever have any questions, you know, about how I make these stuff, feel free to send me either a question through my email, which you can find on my Twitch, on Twitter, all that stuff. I'm welcome to it.